Hey guys, so I wanted to do a quick little speed and camera test here with the C5. Been meaning to check out the camera performance here with this one, with the OnePlus 3, because the phones do look so similar. Obviously the OnePlus 3 is a little bit cheaper though, so that could be good here. But we're going to check it out and have a look how they perform. Both of them are fully up to date, as you can see, and we're just going to reboot them at the same time here. And I think Samsung is obviously experimenting with a bit of metal here when it comes to the C5, and I definitely do enjoy the build quality. The actual internal specs are a little bit modest compared to what you can get on the market now, given the price. But I was interested to see how the camera did perform. I don't think it comes with optical image stabilization though, which is a bit of a disappointment. But you can see the boot up is very slick here, and that is the main thing. So I think we are getting the new kind of Android Marshmallow, obviously, TouchWiz here. So we're going to just check out the speed here before we move on to the camera, have a look at how they compare. Then we can see, does the OnePlus 3 roast the C5? This is a 4GB RAM model C5 as well, quicker on the left. Whoa, what happened then? Let's try that again. You see, sometimes I click on apps but they don't open. They open another one. Unexplained phenomena. So far the C5 is doing pretty well. I think it's Snapdragon 625, very mid-range. But I was reading that the 625 is built upon the better architecture of processors, so you can see the optimization is very slick. Although it lacks the raw kind of horsepower, I think, that you can get from some phones now. And whatever happened to Rovio? So you can see up and operational, very quick on the OnePlus. This one is taking far too long. Another one. Again, you can see, and another one. I think we have Asphalt. I think the OnePlus 3 is the king when it comes to opening up multiple games. I mean, I've heard that there is going to be a 6GB RAM Note 7, but it's only for... Oh, faster here. That's strange. So one goes to the C5. Overall, I think the C5's done pretty well. Not as slow as I thought it'd be, but again, it does show me that premium phones here seem to lack when it comes to the raw performance a little bit. Most of the branded ones do. We can just have a look at the web browsing here. And what I was going to say is that I think we're getting a 6GB RAM Note 7 for some markets, which is a bit unfair if you ask me. If you're paying the top dollar, you do want the best specification. So this one, you can see the browsing a little bit faster, I think, on the right here. So again, you can see massive page here, overview. The C5 doing quite well with this one. Looks, but both of them very nice to pinch and zoom. Whoops. So let's go to somewhere else. GSM Arena. Go. So quite a delay with this one. Probably going to give it to the OnePlus here for that one. Shall have a look at the multitasking. So I'm not expecting too much difference here, both for, well, lots of RAM, as you can see. With TouchWiz it seems to be a pleasure when you have lots of RAM instead of hell. A little bit jerky for the animations still, you know, I think that could be the mid-range credentials of the processor. Still not loaded there, but straight back into it. It has held it in memory. And that's one. And one more. Again, straight back in there. So I'm going to give it top marks when it comes to the optimization. Does very well overall. It's just you know, a little bit constrained compared to the OnePlus 3 when you consider the raw spec. How does the cameras compare? That is another question here. So we did do some testing of the cameras, and we can have a look at the results here. And I gotta say, you know, even though the C5 isn't using the most up-to-date sensor, I think they're using the A5's one. It's actually not too bad. You know, it does the job pretty well. You can see the colours here, very vibrant and pretty nice. I think if you're looking at the more low light shots, you will find a bit more detail when it comes to the OnePlus 3, because it's using a little bit more up-to-date sensor. So for example, the lantern shot, you can see there is a little bit more detail at the bottom compared to the C5 here. That could be, you know, something to bear in mind. I think the low light's going to be better on the OnePlus, as well as phones with the newer 300 series IMX sensor. So also we don't get optical image stabilization, which I was expecting. You know, we did get that on the A5 2016. So a little bit more entry level, shall we say, with the C5 when it comes to the camera. Considering the price, probably would have liked a little bit stronger performance overall. Also, obviously no 4K video recording, a little bit of a shame as well. But I think, you know, overall it will get the job done. It does have the, you know, nice modes such as the Pro mode here, where you can make use of it a little bit better. We do get a Pro mode on the OnePlus, but it does feel a little bit tame in comparison. So Overall, it'll get the job done, but it doesn't set my pulse racing, as I say a lot. So why would you buy the C5? I think the C5 is a solid phone. It's got some nice credentials. It's got a nice build quality about it. I think it's actually 5.2 inches. I keep calling it 5.5 inches, but it feels a bit bigger than it should be, if I'm to be honest. But the screen is very bright, that's for sure. I think it's brighter than the OnePlus 3s. That's definite here. I'd say that the actual kind of lightness of the device is quite an attractive selling point. We're getting 4 gigs of RAM, which is quite good. You can get a 3 gig RAM model. But overall, I think that in terms of the actual price point, there's a lot better options on the market at the moment. You got your Idol 4S, Axon 7, OnePlus 3, Zenfone 3, very crowded when it comes to this particular price point, and I think the Samsung needs to wake up and give us a little bit more. Also, I think the battery could have been a little bit better. I'm always having to charge this, whereas I didn't have to charge the A5 quite as much, so they could have upped it, I think, to about 3,500. But that's just my ranting. It's a solid phone overall. Just it's not. I don't think it's going to appeal to everyone. Just a quick little comparison here. Hope you find it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.